Hello guys, what's up? I'm here again. It's made a while since I record videos for the channel, and I know my MDJ, or better, my daily journal. It's not daily, like it's really not daily, but maybe I should call my dear journal. That would be a good change. I will keep the abbreviation, but I will change the meaning of it. I'm here to talk about that I start to learn French. It's official. I can say now I'm really learn French. It's real, guys. I'm learn French, and now I'm like I'm starting to learn French. I still not knowing a lot of things. My knowledge is still very rusty, and I think that I'm A1 or probably less than that. I'm A0 or something like that. I'm I want to talk about like how I'm approaching the French learning process and how I think that English shall be like my how I shall learn English now. I like French. I'm first. Let's go straight into French, right? I'm trying to start slowly for after I try to think more about how should I approach French. But now I already know Portuguese is my native tongue, and I also have a good knowledge in English. I probably C1 or maybe C1 up or C1 or mid C1. I'm probably around that, and you see my speaking is not that level yet. I think my speaking is B2 probably, B2 or a low C1. But what I would mean is that knowing those two language, both knowing both language, they help me to know more about French and understand it more easily, because English and French has a close relation, right? English like have has a strong influence in French and vice versa. French has influenced English like for a long time. And moreover, like when the Roman Empire conquered the the Grand Britain, I can't say that in English. When the Roman Empire conquered where now is the United Kingdom, when they did that, English started to have a strong influence of Latin, like the old vulgar Latin, because the Latin was start to getting vulgar and was not more like the classical Latin that we are used to, and start to lose the true meaning of the language, and the language start to like deteriorate it. And because that English had a strong influence of the Latin. You see some person, even my teacher, my English teacher, for example, he said to me that the the English is actually a Romance language. We know that that is not correct, but indeed the English has a strong influence of it, and because the English has a strong influence of Latin, the the English and the French is close, because like English is are Germanic, come from a Germanic, like, oh, I forgot, whatever, but it's the family from Germanic language. So Germany and other languages also come from the Germanic branch. I think that's branch what I want to mean. But English has a strong influence of Latin, and in some way the Germanic aspect and the Romance aspect just mixed up. And another thing that you need to consider is that English, besides that, had a strong influence of the language that are spoken in where now is England. So English had a strong influence of it also. Basically, English is this mix between those languages and has their own evolution by this mean, or their own deterioration and their own change. The fact is that the language changes, not necessarily evolving, but necessarily changing through time. So what I want to mean is that English has this strong influence of Romance language and like the Latin itself. So, and another thing, France and England, or United Kingdom, is very close to each other geographically. So it's obviously like obvious. It's obvious that English and French will influence each other in this way. But English has this Latin influence and also the French influence, and because of that, English becomes like a Germanic language that is very close indeed to Romance language, and thanks to that, French is close somehow. Is very close somehow to English. I think that from the branch of the Romance language, French is the closest to English. And thanks to that, for an English speaker, learn French is not that difficult. You can learn French easily if you already know English, because there is a lot of words that seems the same. And you are used to the grammatical order and those things. Besides that, Portuguese is also a Romance language, so it's a fact that Portuguese will be very, very close to French, also because they are from the same family, as in the same way Italian, Spanish, and all the Romance languages. So I can say that I have some advantage to learn French because I already know English and I a native speaker of Portuguese. So thanks to my Portuguese and my knowledge in English, I shall learn English more easier. I mean, that's a point that I want to mention. But let's now to talk about how I'm approaching French. So I'm trying to do in a way that I'm not overwhelmed by the system and I not quit like in the start, because you see my language learn process was very, very messy and I can't like describe a way that I stricted to it, because I changed it so many times that I can't remember. I created a book, an English notebook for my English learn process, but actually what happened is like I I didn't write a thing in that notebook since some weeks ago. And bro, that's my point. I have difficulty following a restricted and organized plan. what I'm doing now is that I created a deck of cards in Enki, and there I'm putting some words that I came from. So I see I see a verb that I like it, and and I see that useful. For example, let me see the verb est in French. I will not pronounce how it's pronounced in French because I don't know pronounce yet. But est, and I take this verb and ask ChatGPT. ChatGPT explained to me what this verb stands for, and it gave me the explanation about the verb and how you should use it and those things. After that I asked ChatGPT give me 10 or 20 phrases of this verb in different conjugations. So if the verb is to be, will be the conjugations of the verb in French. And I take those 20 or 10 phrases and put into my Enki deck. So I put there, sometimes I put the audio, but it's hard to do so and I'm quite lazy, so sometimes I do, sometimes I do not, but I try to create those cards and put in the deck. After that, every day I try to review the cards and to do so. But I'm trying to put like 30 cards a day. Not every single day necessarily, but every time that I can, I try to put 30 cards. Not more than that. And by cards, I mean the phrases. So I take, let's say, 20 phrases of something and 10 for another, from another, and put there in the cards and review them. And by Enki will be, thanks to Enk itself, will be spaced repetition. My goal is not like know all words in French and have them memorized. I just want to be able to get used to the language and go straight into content. Another thing that I'm making, I'm searching for beginner French things like French videos for I search in YouTube like French beginner or videos for beginners in French, etc. And I search for that in my YouTube. And after that, I see some videos of some channels that with subtitles, like in French and English. First, I start watching in English so I can get the main idea of the video. I search for small videos and I can get the main idea of it. And after that, I start to watching the language and watching the video in French with just with subtitles in French. So I start watching in with English subtitles, and after that I watch with French subtitles. And I take some words or 2 or 3 words by day and go there in ChatGPT and do what I said to you. I want to like have approximately 300 review max per day. So I want to do 300 review max because I think that it's a good time. If I waste 5 seconds per card in my ink deck, I shall like do all deck in 50 actually 25 minutes per day, and I think that 25 is a very good time indeed. So I do not want to put more than that because this way I will be not stimulated to do so. And less than that, I think that it's very small. When, yeah, and another thing, when the time is going, I will not take 5 seconds to insert a card. If I already know it, I will waste 1 or 2 seconds to think about that and just easy, or right, how we use Anki cards. So that's my point. I'm trying to organize this way, and let me see. So this way, I'm trying to watch some beginner level videos. I'm thinking start to watch more specific videos of French learn, like with stories and those things. There is the side of Stephen Kaufman, that there is a lot of language, and one of these is French. So I'm thinking start to do so, watch the stories in French, and thanks by that I will like learn the language, take some words and put in my ink deck. That's my goal actually. So that's kind of the way that I'm organize my French learn routine, and I decide with myself. French is a very good language that I want to learn, and I can learn another language also after. But now my goal is French. My main goal is French. Also, my English keeps with my main goal, but I already achieved a level in English that I don't need to like do a lot of things as I'm doing to French. I live the language and consume content is more important than do some exercises. And about English, I'm thinking in try again to like read some books that I like. It's not a big deal for me. I'm not doing for an obligation or for learning the language specifically. I'm trying to restart because I already started reading. Like I was reading, I studied in Scarlet of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, but I want to start to read again, like, and like read books, write something. I will see how I approach that, but I think also in start to talk more. There is my channel that I can talk with you guys, but I think that I will organize with some friends to do conversation classes with my teacher also in my school. That's another point. But what I mean is that I'm trying to learn French, and I try to think about how I should approach English in an organic way. So that's the today's video. I hope that you all are doing great. If you have anything to say, please let comment down below and say what and speak. Let's chat. Let's have a conversation. I will be glad to hear you all and see you probably in the next video. I don't know. I'm very lazy as you realize. And if I have the opportunity, I will record another video. And another thing, today is a very, not today, but like this week is a very it is my last sad note. Today this week is a very joyful and happy week for the Catholic Church, because finally habemos Papan, and that's what I want to say. See you all later. Bye.